Hi, welcome to the Attic Library. In this episode, I'm going to share with you my top 5 books in my personal development library. What's personal development? That's simply a field where you work to improve yourself. Personal development books are books that help you do that. I hope we're all trying to improve ourselves in some way. So go ahead and click below. Click the subscribe button and click the notification bell so you'll get a notification when I come out with a new video. And let's jump right in. Here are the 5 books in my top 5 of my personal development library. We're going to start with the book Good to Great by Jim Collins. This book was published back in 2001, and it's really more of a book on how to build a successful organization. I put it in my personal development library because when I read this book, it really challenged me that if I was going to develop a successful organization, it had to start with me. Now, the book starts off with the classic line that good is the enemy of great. That basically, we don't do great things too often because we settle for good. Collins also he lays out, some what was really for me at the time revolutionary thinking that you build a great organization by getting the right people on your team, the wrong people off your team, getting the right people in the right seats on your team. He calls it being on the bus. But this is Good to Great. It's a classic. It has stood the test of time. So that is book number 1. Book number 2, The 15 Invaluable Laws of Personal Growth by John C. Maxwell. Now, Maxwell is known as being the guru of leadership. He writes a lot on that subject, but I include this one in my personal development library because it's a book that just applies to anybody. You can be the president of the company. You can be the night janitor. It doesn't matter. You're going to get some good stuff out of this book. For example, the very first law in here is the law of intentionality. That's that if you're going to achieve something, if you're going to complete a goal, if you're going to improve in an area of life, if you're going to succeed, you have to be intentional about it. It doesn't just happen. In this book, Maxwell talks a lot about habit being important to our success, that our success is really found in our daily habits. He's not the only one. There are other writers that basically say the same thing. Maxwell has a gift for taking complex concepts and making them simple, though. So he basically says that we do not determine our future. Our habits determine our future, and we determine which habits we develop. So that is John C. Maxwell's 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. I highly recommend that you get this book, read it, do what it says, put it in your library. Now, let's move on to book number 3. Dave Ramsey, The Total Money Makeover. This is a book about finances. I'm not going to do much in the way of a review of it now because I review it in another video that I've already posted. So you can go look at that to see more about what this book has done for me. It has meant a lot for me financially, literally thousands of dollars, all for a $25 book when I got it. But whether you have this book or any book in your personal library, you need one on some sort of sound financial management. If you're saying, I want to do personal development, but you're broke as the 10 Commandments, that's not going to work. So you need a good financial book in there. All right, let's move on to the next one. One of my favorites here. This is Wooden on Leadership. The legendary UCLA basketball coach John Wooden won 10 national championships in 12 years at UCLA. No other coach has come close to that in any sport. So Wooden, after he retired, he writes this book on some of his concepts of leadership and development. Now, I will tell you that this book it's a difficult book to do. It's not hard to understand, not hard to read, but a guy like Wooden didn't win 10 national championships in 12 years by being an easygoing, laid-back guy. So he lays out some things like, if you're going to succeed, you've got to work at it. You've got to have a plan. You've got to have a system. And you've got to work hard at implementing that system and working that plan. Most of all, you've got to work your plan before you're successful. So that is John Wooden on leadership. Now, we're down to our last book, Fresh Wind, Fresh Fire by Jim Cymbala. Now, this book is a spiritual book. It is a book about a pastor. It's his story of how he built the Brooklyn Tabernacle from just a little dying church in Brooklyn to one of the most successful churches in the country. And it's just one that has inspired me on my faith journey over the years. It drives me to hopefully be a better person, to be who I am. And basically, Jim Cymbala built the Brooklyn Tabernacle on a foundation of prayer. And this book is that story. I had the privilege several years ago to attend a service at the Brooklyn Tabernacle. And I must say it was unlike any other service that I've ever attended anywhere. It is the closest thing to what to me the church should look like on this earth. You had people of all different nationalities coming into this big old grand theater that they had renovated into a church. It was a Tuesday night of all nights, but that's when they have their big prayer service. And they would have you split up in teams of 4. And you would pray, and you find yourself praying with people from all kind of different backgrounds. But it's a beautiful experience. And Fresh Wind, Fresh Fire by Jim Cymbala is a book that has stayed on my shelf and been a real inspiration to me over the years. So these are my personal favorites, my top 5 books in my own personal development library. These don't have to be the 5 books in yours. They're just my 5 favorite. Now, there were a couple of that I really wanted to include, but 5 is 5. So some had to be cut. There's one book that I wanted to put in here, but I couldn't find it. It's lost somewhere in the attic. I'll come across it tomorrow. But these 5 have helped me immensely. Click below, click on that old subscribe button and the little notification bell so you'll get my next video when it comes out. And we will see you next time right here on the Attic Library. I'm Rex Baker, and have a great day.